Fill the jars with water. Draw some out now and take it to the steward. A very difficult instruction that was obeyed, and there was a miracle. Otito diri Jesu. The reading we took from the book of Genesis talks about God creating man in his image. In the image of God, he created him, singular. Male and female, he created them, plural. One human nature, two sexes, male and female. Chapter 2 says that God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helpmate." And he created woman. Somebody has defined marriage as an institution where the man loses his bachelor's degree and the woman acquires her master's. Marriage is an institution where a man and a woman cease to be individuals and they become a couple. This is very important. Henry, today, this morning as you came up the altar, is the last day you will ever move or do anything without caring what is happening to Martha. You came up alone. She was struggling with her voluminous gown. You didn't notice. She nearly fell here. You didn't notice. No more. No more. That liberty is gone. Because from now on, you will never, underline the word, never again be truly happy if what you do does not ask seriously before God whether it will also make her happy. Except it is something that is contrary to God's will or the common good. Your joy will depend on hers. And the same way, and that is how beautiful marriage is. And the same thing for her. She can no longer ignore whether Henry leaves the house with a black suit and a red tie that is on the ground, or whether he wears a suit with a trainer's canvas, or whether he comes home drunk or sober. From now onwards, Martha, his worries have become your worries. If you want to be happy, any of you, it is what you have to strive to make the other person happy. The more you pursue happiness in life, the more it eludes you. But the more you try to do the right thing to make others happy, the happier you will become naturally. Happiness always eludes those who pursue it. Like a baby chasing butterfly. And the butterfly keeps going from one flower to another. And the baby is tired and lies down to rest in the grass. And the butterfly comes back to perch on his or her forehead. Stop pursuing happiness. Especially, stop pursuing happiness through pleasure. Be good. Do good to others. And happiness will come to you on its own. And others, number one other is the thou of your wife, the thou of your husband. They are no longer two, but one. Nwaanyị jiri ego m je leta, ọ bụ emaghị homo, ọ bụ gị gug, because nne gị anya tesef na ọbịa na-eke gị nri, ege na-asị nwaanyị jiri ego gị je leta. Ụfọdụ ụmụ nwoke ihu m omume ha n'ezinụlọ, o nwere ndị na-echi nju omume ihe. This sacrament will bring you closer. Domestic violence is a sign of insanity. They are mental. And it is becoming more common. Men expressing their frustration in life on their hapless and harmless wives. Very often, the more beautiful they are, and the more obedient and subservient the women are, the more violent some men become. That is the tragedy of our current confused society. But such men are not mature for marital life. It also happens that sometimes the man is the victim. And the woman can be a bully or nagging or psychologically violent, even though such cases may be fewer in our society. They are no longer two, but one. And the happiness, true happiness of a husband and true happiness of a wife comes from seeing that your spouse is happy. No better rule. This is not an easy thing to do, and it requires the efforts of everybody, especially all those in the society. Our society is not helpful to marriage anymore. And these are the things we should retain about our tradition and culture. Idol worship is not our culture. It was the religion of our forefathers. But according to our culture, the institution of marriage is heavy and should not be left to two persons alone. There is responsibility, co-responsibility of the entire family to help them. Not by interference in their private affairs. But you may notice that there is a problem and you do something to help. And they may not even know. And it is important that you bear in mind the friends you have around you. Our friends ne tikpe ezinaụlọ. When na ekpokote ezinaụlọ. There was a marriage feast in Cana in Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was invited. Invite her always to your family. Ụlọ ga-ezekonu yara akpata. Onweghi mgbe Jesu nọ n'ịga n'ọgụ, onweghi mgbe nne Jesu nọ Jesu ga n'ọgụ. And Jesus and his disciples were also invited. Be a good neighbor. Notice when there is something wrong. Mary noticed they had no wine. You may notice it. No kwerigi who matagna these days. Na Henry na kwago church na achire. But no nwere udoro cho na achigo ebidoro ngode manya ga na ngreda. You have noticed that there is a problem. The first person you talk to about it must be somebody who can intervene without disrupting their life. Mary told Jesus. You can also tell Jesus directly. And Jesus knew it was not his time, but because there was the danger of ruining a feast and a happy moment, he suspended his regulations and plan and intervened. Every moment is the right moment to be kind and helpful to others. Every moment. Don't postpone kindness when you can show it. He told the stewards, fill the jars with water. They obeyed, and he told them, draw some from that and take to the steward. These servants are like neighbors around us. They intervened by doing something that they never imagined could be helpful. Sometimes the contribution you will make to change a situation may not appear to be directly related to the problem. Listen to the voice of your conscience. Listen to the Spirit whispering in your heart about what you could do to help in a difficult situation. Sometimes God may be telling you to fill the jars with water and draw from the jars to the steward. You may think it is a useless action, but God knows what he's asking you to do. Don't be like the steward. Onishioche, onishiemume. Some of us know only how to notice problems. And even when something good happens, the voice with which they appreciate it will be critical or polemical. The steward did not say, Jai, now wow, this wine is better than the one we have taken before. He began with a complaint. Everything complain. Gi mele complain. Ishimeri do so pafe asni keterieka. Abri nike yo mwaja osigi nemesha khome mush. Ndeba insne ikoriko. Owendebe otipi okoch. Ndeba insne ikoriko de no tipi okoch. Otipi ba yara yazes for other dialects of Nsukka. Ikoriko de no tipi okoch. Oga abuga na eminya daga. Oga abu na jade. Some will always complain against everybody and about everything. But the question is, what have you done to help? And all of us, every one of us, can do something to protect a marriage that is in crisis. without interfering directly with the family. At least prayer. The steward did not know what had happened. The couple celebrating wedding did not know what had happened, but something important had happened, and those other stewards knew. And eventually, the disciples knew. When you are doing the right thing to help another person, don't worry about who will notice it and who will recognize it. Just do the right thing. It will make you happy. And this can also be applied to our life generally, outside marriage and family. And this is my message to our youths this year. Fill the jars with water and draw some and give to the steward. You may think it is a useless act. Go and get your PVC. Go and cast your vote. This is a useless thing. We know they won't count our votes. They have already decided who will vote. That is what you think. Fill the jars with water. Don't argue about it and draw some out. Now, the right thing for you to do, go and get your PVC and get out and vote. Don't be distracted by all the statements and polemics going on in the campaign rallies, whether in the television or in the fields or on the social media. Endorsement or no endorsement for any candidate, what we are asking for is allow us to vote and make our votes count. You can endorse whoever you like, and I will endorse whoever I want and vote for that person. Don't be distracted. Some of these things are meant to distract the voters. Do the right thing now. It may seem a useless exercise, but that is also valid. Both of you are graduates. Think of your years as a student or as students. Think of some of the assignments you got. This funny man who deceives a small boy, Anabo Nwa Koboko, by telling him to say very funny things, but things that can be very harmful to a child. Nwa Koboko said, Biko, unu awonde gochagora akwụkwọ ka njuke n'unu. Enwe ihe ise cockroach na-abara unu. Oge ọbụla onye nkụzi anyị na-apịa m ịtarị see cockroach. Unu abụ ndị gụchagoro akwụkwọ, kedu ihe cockroach na-abara unu kịta? Anyị achịa. Why was the teacher telling you to draw a cockroach? To pay attention to the structures of a living organism and how a living organism operates. And how that cockroach that you may think is harmless could be harmful to your life. But Nwakoboko and his sponsor can't see this. But if you acquired the discipline of drawing a cockroach, then you will also acquire the discipline of sketching a project if you are an engineer, of reading up cases in preparation for a debate in the law court if you are a lawyer, of analyzing economic variables and indices in order to improve our economy if you are an economist, of feeling the sensibilities and the needs of the people on the streets. If you are in public office or a president or governor or representative of the people, that is what drawing cockroach trains you to do. Now you are being told to do something that you may think is irrelevant. And you, by your own judgment, you say it's irrelevant and ignore it. So all of us can do something. And each of us can do something to make Nigerians better and happier. To save a wedding feast that is about to end in a disastrous way. What you do now may not seem important, but it will eventually determine the life of many in future. For now, don't ask too many questions. Fill up the jars. Fill the jars with water. Dear Martha, dear Henry, my dear young people, there is no perfect human being, and there is no perfect marriage. Every human being, like every marriage, is work in progress. It requires patience. It requires persistence and perseverance to bring that work to completion. But even before the completion comes, every honest effort that you make in the process of the realization of that project will make you happy, because you are doing it bearing in mind what will make another person happier. Our prayer for both of you is that whatever you saw in each other that attracted you to one another should grow, and you should water it and make it blossom. Allow the negative things you have noticed in one another to die. Outgrow them, and above all, talk about them if they become an obstacle to your project together. And neighbors, friends, families, any help that we give to married people when they're experiencing crisis must be help that builds up and saves a situation without interfering in the private life of the couple. This is our wish for you and my prayer for all our young people. In the past, I used to complain that we train our girls from Block Rosary, Mary League, HCA, Mary League, Sion, Altar Girls. And when the time for marriage comes, we don't have the young men whom we have trained through the same process to marry our girls that we have trained. And they end up in religious communities that will destroy all that has been built up. But now, from time to time it happens, or even more often it is now happening, that those we prepared for happy married life find one another. Mano nwere ndị na-Igwebuike igwe ndị youth na lọlọ ndị youth. Ma ọ m lụkọ n'enyi, onye chọgide onye m ga-amaga mgbe ọhụrụ, yara lọlọ ya ja lụrụ onye ọzọ. Ma ọ bụ ọlụkọ n'di, ọ yara onye ọ na-ese igwe chọgide ndị na-egbu ozu na ha isi. under the oversee. So when it happens that you find one another in this association of prayer, we are grateful to God, and we pray that the Lord who began the good work in you may bring it to completion. Amen.